The last time I did a video of me reviewing the dog teddy, I started by almost throwing up. This time I'm doing a video that I never saw before, so I really hope that I'm not gonna throw up. I'm Dr. Ryan, a veterinarian and a veterinary behavior specialist. That means that what I do is exactly this, helping dogs that are aggressive or fearful, but with evidence-based techniques. So it's not just because I watched some YouTube video and decided that I'm a dog trainer. No, I actually went to school for this.
Biddy is a rescue. I got her when she was about a year old in Hartford, Connecticut. She'd been roaming the streets, and I got her at a no-kill shelter and took her home. I've had her in training.
So this is important. A dog that was adopted already as an adult without any known history, that might mean that she had a bad exposure before the owner got her, or it just might mean that she wasn't socialized correctly and then can have, sadly, a bad effect on her life later on.
3 or 4 times and nothing has worked. She gets very aggressive around other dogs.
If that's the case, why do you keep bringing her so close to other dogs?
And people, not being able to talk to my friends and having to hide behind trees.
And again, if you know, and the trainer should know it, if you already know that the dog is aggressive around other dogs, don't do it on purpose. Every time you do it, you're only sensitizing the dog even more. You're making it even worse going forward.
To go way out of my way because I don't want a confrontation.
Right now,
Let's see what the dog daddy has to say about this.
Right.
So right now, all he's doing is basically flooding or learned helplessness. He's holding the dog close to the other dog. When this tiny scared dog, everyone knows that this dog is scared, right? He's holding the dog very close to another dog where she can't even go anywhere. She can't hide like the owner said, because she said that if she will have a choice, she will go and hide behind the owner or behind trees. Instead, he's just making her face her fears, and in a way, in the brain itself, it just makes that pathway that causes her to react in this way, it makes it stronger, meaning that it's going to become worse and worse. Also, emotionally, it has a really bad effect. Even if she will end up not barking anymore, it's not because all of a sudden she's not afraid. It's just because she learned that no matter what she does, she's like trying to get the other dog to go away, but she can't, and they're holding her in place, then it's kind of like learned helplessness. Okay, I'm just gonna stop and not do anything.
but even with the not really responded too well.
I don't know if you noticed, he keeps poking her, which is something that Cesar Millan also does. And technically, I think they say it's meant to kind of like distract them, which in a way, okay, we want to distract the dog, but we want to do it in a positive way. If we are able to distract the dog for long enough and then reward him for being quiet, that's great because we're actually rewarding something good. If we're just poking the dog and scaring him, especially in this situation, even if it doesn't hurt, it only makes things worse.
Hey.
Here, you saw? I mean, think about it. If you were around something that scares you, and every time that you made any sound or showed that you're scared, someone will come and poke you. Just poke you, nothing more than that. Would it make you feel better, or would it just irritate you even more?
Hey. So with the hand going like this, and they literally get
He was even doing it when the dog wasn't barking.
to understand that we're talking to her.
Yeah.
And this pointing, what is that supposed to do?
Because you can tell she, with the least pressure, she was just ignoring it. So the first thing that I was explaining to the owner here is that we need to be correcting the behavior.
Correct the behavior means to punish it. There's no correction. You're not taking something's broken and correcting it. Correcting is the way that all of those dog trainers call their punishment.
To be interrupting this behavior every single time. Although there's a few different ways to do it, I was showing her the most effective.
Did you see how the dog did this full shake off? Like started from the head and went all the way to the tail? That's a very good sign of a dog that was in a lot of excitement or fear and stress. And once the other dog went away, they're basically calming themselves down. So that's showing us even more that the dog is afraid.
Methods to get the dog to stop. I explained to her that with the leash and the collar she had on, and we were applying pressure, that still wasn't enough.
Look, he's not only poking the dog, he's also kind of like hanging her by the leash.
To get the dog's attention.
What's next? He's going to do a helicopter and like hang her really up in the air and choke her? I really hope not.
I was teaching her some hand pressure that will be very effective in communicating with the dog as a correction to let them know they must immediately stop that behavior. Once the dog.
Seriously, it's like punishing her even when she's not really doing anything. And he keeps doing that, I'm sorry, stupid thing that Caesar Milan also does, just poking the dog and poking and poking and poking to stop the behavior. It's only making things worse.
Was responding to the correction. I was using that same correction to stop the dog's behavior in different scenarios, and I was just adding common things that are a trigger for her. So, for example, you see me stand up and then go back down because those are triggers for her currently. When she sees someone stand up, she usually barks at them aggressively, as you just saw.
With that part, I'm kind of okay. No problem that if he does know what the triggers are and he can do them in a way that doesn't make the dog freak out, and you repeat them enough times and reward her for her quiet behavior, or not even reward her for the quiet behavior, but create this counter conditioning and desensitization, meaning that in her head, it changes from, oh, I should be afraid of this person moving, to, oh, I might actually get a treat from this. Or every time this happens, this exposure happens, I also get something good. And then hopefully it will create a new pathway in the brain that will allow the dog to become mixing the two things, like mixing reward-based training and punishment-based training, especially when it's so intense and it happens so much. In most cases, and this is something that's documented in the scientific literature more than once, you will only make things worse.
Now, she was learning to tolerate and not see someone simply stand up as a trigger.
Not the way that he's doing it. Again, yes, if the dog is calm, but not like this.
I was also using the leash to continue to communicate with her and reinforce that I am in charge of the situation. She's no longer allowed to be barking at all.
You're not in charge of everything. We're all in charge of our own emotions. So you can't make someone feel this way or the other way. It's not your decision. And also, you're not communicating anything but creating that learned helplessness. All you're communicating is that you better not bark or else.
Just dogs and people, but I'm also creating a positive environment for her around this dog.
Nothing positive about this environment. It's just the opposite.
And people walking by for her to realize she does not need to worry about them. Move her around a little bit.
Still didn't work. You saw how she did turn back the second that the other dog got to a specific point. Now, technically, if it was me, I would have given her a treat for looking at the other dog right away because she was quiet enough. She wasn't barking. She wasn't moving. And then if you give her a treat, you created that positive association. That's the first step. Next step would have been something like she's looking at the other dog and now she's expecting a treat. So she's going to be looking back to me or to the owner, and only then you give her a treat. So this is basically what we sometimes call engage, disengage. By the way, yes, many times we will do it while the dog is walking and not while the dog is just sitting down and staring. It really depends on the dog, though. Right? Some dogs are better like this, some dogs are better like that. What annoys me is still the fact that they keep tagging on her leash. So at least this dog doesn't have a prong collar, but it's still very uncomfortable and even dangerous to keep doing it, especially when she's not really doing anything bad. So if you want to use something to distract her, why use something aversive? Why not just call her name or offer her a treat or something like that? I don't understand that. Or now they're going to a dog park. That's very smart.
After practicing for a little bit, it was time to put the training through the test. And we're taking this 9-year-old dog, as you heard the owner say, that could not be trained, into the dog
She's
park.
letting us know that she's actually pretty comfortable with other dogs as long as she feels like we are in charge of it. So
No, that's not the case. You're not in charge of anything. And actually, many times, the fact that she's on leash might make things worse. So there's a good chance that if he goes to the daycare there, or sorry, to the dog park and takes the leash off and all of a sudden she's playing around with the other dogs, it's just the opposite. It's just because there's no more tension coming from the owners. And by the way, other reasons, sometimes it's not a good sign. Sometimes it's because the dog feels more secure by the presence of the owner. So the dog will allow himself or herself to bark and behave in an aggressive manner. But when she's away from the owners, kind of like when the vet sometimes takes the dog to the back room, the dog freezes there. And not because he's more comfortable away from the owners, he's actually more afraid. So he freezes instead of trying to bite and bark. So to the untrained eye, it might look like the dog is better, but it's just the opposite.
she doesn't have to worry about them. Good girl. Let's go. Good. So this is also really good because you want dogs like moving around faster, going by her.
In a way, yes, it looks good, it looks better, but I have to say that because I'm not actually seeing her face and it's from far enough that I can see any changes or other signs of stress, I can't say for sure if she's calm, because if she is calm and she can be around those other dogs, awesome. If she's not, if she's just, again, now that she learned that she's not allowed to show how she actually feels because she's going to be punished by the dog daddy by pulling her and hanging her, then she's just not showing those behaviors. And that's why she looks like she's better. It's completely different.
She did with dogs just walking by. She warmed up. She was doing pretty good.
Right.
Now we want to make sure that we get her to also relax with like fast movement,
Right.
because the more she can tolerate, the better it is. Like you can go anywhere with her, and if a dog barks at her, even she doesn't care. You know, that's kind of like taking it to the next level.
Okay.
You come here, Daisy. Come on, let's go. Daisy,
She's pretty confident though to explore.
This is good. You can actually use the dog's natural behaviors in order to reward the calm behavior or to reward just feeling good. Because, for example, if she likes to sniff a lot, then you let her, and that's actually the reward. So if she sniffs a lot while those scary triggers are going around her, that's a win-win because she's enjoying it. And again, it's kind of like doing some counter conditioning of Every time I'm here, I get to smell things and, and also a form of enrichment.
I should take her to dog parks.
Not necessarily, but
Yeah, no.
sometimes, she's small and you never know what other dogs will be there.
Right.
I'm amazed that I'm actually agreeing with the dog daddy so many times, but yes, that's true that many times taking the dog to the dog park is a win or lose, hit or miss kind of like behavior because you just don't know who the other dogs are going to be. So I have to say that in many, many, many situations, I actually don't like going to the dog park unless you know who the other dogs are. So if it's like a specific group of dogs that you know that they will all get along well, that's fine. But in dog parks, you never know who's going to come there. And that can be dangerous.
But you can at least take her to like places with maybe some friends' dogs, That's it.
You saw she's still afraid. And the second that she reacted, and maybe reacted normally for her by turning to this dog who just came and sniffed her butt, he punched her again. So again, the dog is definitely not happy with the situation. She's just afraid to show she's just afraid to show that she's afraid.
You just redirect her a little bit.
That wasn't redirection, that was punishment.
I'm used to having dogs sniffing her. So that's why I want to bring her here to help you desensitize her. Because even if you don't ever take her to a park, like just exposure will make her more desensitized to dogs.
Yes and no. Again, exposure is a way to desensitize her, but it will only work if you're doing it in a calm way if she's under her threshold. Not like this when she's still afraid and other dogs will just randomly come to her. When you do it like this, you're sensitizing her, not desensitizing her.
She's going to feel less of the need of being defensive.
Right.
So, like I said, she got comfortable with them walking by really quickly. But now I want to make sure that they can sniff her, they can run around her. Dogs barking, there won't be a trigger for
I can't watch this anymore because basically all he's doing is creating this learned helplessness. He's forcing her into a situation that she's not feeling well. I don't like it. Please, people, don't do it. So yes, I agreed with a couple of things that he was saying, but not with the way that he was doing it. Because he would say one thing, but his techniques are really, really, really outdated. You don't do things like that anymore if you actually care about your dog. Please like and subscribe, especially if you agree with the things that I'm saying, because then YouTube is more likely to show it to people that think the same things like you do. Now, I did do other videos of the dog daddy before, so you can definitely check those out as well.